Well, my life was pretty much, man, it was swan or nothing. If it ain't swans, it's a waste. And that I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing, man, until I committed a murder and went to YA and did 10 years. And then as my experience in YA starting to lead me up to this point. The reason why I say the government is responsible is because they utilize the negative activities to capitalize off of it. The individual that pulled the trigger, he's responsible for his action. But if you set a ghetto maze up, and in the ghetto maze, nobody have a clue on how to get out of it, they become frustrated. Then the community becoming into poverty. Then poverty, what goes on in poverty? You able to manipulate everybody. You able to manipulate all the black communities around this world to commit violence and to commit acts of violence and go to penitentiaries and fill up the mortuaries and the cemeteries, you know. And then you asked the homegirl about the question about have one of our homegirls ever been murdered? Yes, she was shot in the head. You know what I'm saying? That's really, a female is off limits. Really, it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to a dehumanized state of mind, you don't care who you kill. Like my mom's was killed, shot in the back of the head, because our communities is being trained to be dehumanizing each other. But yeah, it is gonna be some change. All these youngsters, they gonna change their life with the help of us. Like I was once, you know, a major player in the turf, but due to I started learning about life, I had to change. I ain't gonna accept this condition. This is a condition that no human beings around the world or in this country should accept. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's about really educating, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, I say the government is responsible for a lot of things that goes on in these communities, because you got a lot of intelligent people, not just blacks, but Hispanics too. You know, a lot of people, you know, don't have a clue on how to be productive in life, especially if you ain't raised with your father. You know, your father play a big part too. Like my father, he played a big part of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like he's deceased right now, but I'm still catching up and finding all type of his friends that they sharing things about him to me, to where it's shaping my character. When I started to participating with the gang intervention, prevention organizations and programs, and I start going into these meetings, and then I started listening to the conversations they having. And the conversation they having, they targeting our youth. And then it's like a snowball. You snowball in the parents, you snowball in the neighborhood watch. The neighborhood watch grandkids is from these different tribes. So you snowball in the grandparents to make the grandparents think that your grandchild is evil or your grandchild is no good to be in these communities. So now I said, man, hold on, because this your grandchild, you know, you're responsible to teach your grandchild how to behave in the community. You're not supposed to let the police put this jacket on your like we all, just because you say, oh, we swans and all that, that doesn't mean that we bad people. We human beings. We take a shit just like they take a shit. We brush our teeth. We got lives, kids, married, you know, and all that type of things. We got homies that's really positive. But if the police was to come up and say, oh, you a gang, to dehumanize you, just so you won't be able to be successful in the mainstream of society. Like, I went through a lot of things in my life because I was once in elementary school, junior high, couldn't read, felt like I was a loser, felt that I didn't fit into society, so started committing acts of crimes and started, you know, not caring, and then wound up in the California Youth Authority, did 10 years, and then wound up back and forth through the county jail. It then wind up to someday, I mean, it just came to me that, man, this is not no lifestyle for me. I went to the blood module, but then I wound up going to mainline because I'm one of them type of adventure type of dudes. I ain't gonna just sit in one cage. I like to explore, you know what I'm saying? So I wound up going to the mainline.
And there was a lot of Crips on the main line.
A lot of Crips on the main line. I had to represent myself, represent the turf, you know what I'm saying? Be down, be strong, you know what I mean? If you weak, I mean, if you weak, you're gonna be weak throughout society. You're gonna be weak all throughout your life. So you gotta challenge yourself. So I'd rather challenge myself. That's why I went to the main line.
What do you think is the main difference from being a Blood than a Crip?
Well, no disrespect to the Keyways, I think it's easy for them because that's kind of like, well,
It's a popular thing to do.
yeah, it's a popular common color blue. Blue is a common color, but to go deeper, I think once upon a time everybody was Crips. You know what I'm saying? I even heard stories that our turf was Crips, but at one point in time it just flipped over. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? It was considered to be Baby Cribs, a off branch of the Black Panthers, right? Then it turned it. That's why I say the government played a part of that. Turned us, added flames to the fire. Had the Bloods killing the Crips killing the Bloods, and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
For a long time, Bloods never feuded with each other, but there's been some exceptions to that. How do you feel when a Blood hood actually goes at it with another Blood hood?
That's like a disrespect. That ain't our program. We ain't never functioned like that. Through unity, we always gonna be successful when we have unity. But if you become separate as a finger, it's easy to play these games and play us against each other. So back then, the Bloods, we had unity amongst each other, and which means that, it was all love. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a generation coming up. They don't understand love. They ain't never experienced it. So without love, anything can happen. All these, man, you could call your mother a B and don't even care.
It took me to go to prison to sit down and reevaluate my life, what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. For me to even have an understanding that life is greater than just being on Adams Boulevard.
We everywhere. I go out there, shit. They told me the house, it's about 10, 15 niggas. I'm like, damn. Shit, it's in Arizona. That shit everywhere. Mad Swan that. Best place there.